Hey everybody, this is Ted with RT Pro. We're back in the shop with our XP 1000 High Lifter Edition RZR. We're going to go ahead and put our 2-inch lift kit on it today. So let's get started. So last time we were in the shop with this High Lifter Edition, we put a spring kit on it, an HD spring kit. So we know that our springs are good and they aren't going to produce any sag. So we'll surely get our full 2 inches of lift out of this beast. Before we start, we're going to take some ride height measurements from the ground to the front chassis, and then from the back chassis to the ground as well. So now that we got the wheels and tires and the front shocks out of the way, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the front brackets in. The front brackets consist of 3 pieces, and they are channels that sandwich together around the front shock mounts, upper shock mounts, which we're going to take a look at here in a second. Basically, that provides us with a new positioning for the front shocks, provides that lift height that we're looking for, and then it braces that front chassis mount. So there are a couple harnesses you're going to have to move out of the way, so cutting some zip ties is not at all abnormal. There is a fuse box on this model that's right up top here. We'll have to take both these bolts loose. That'll give us enough slack just to move it out of the way and be able to put our back lift bracket in place. All right, so where they mount this diff breathing tube on the High Lifter Edition through the upper frame chassis point, we'll have to disconnect it from the differential to allow us to slide our rear shock mount in place. So now that we got our diff line out of the way, we're going to go ahead and slip our rear portion of our upper shock mount in place. So we give you 2 shock spacer sleeves that go into the OEM shock mount. It braces that position. Because of the nature of the beast, there always is a little extra squish on the OEM frame. So that is going to cause this to be a little difficult to go in there. So don't be afraid to either spread the opening back and reform this to fit the sleeve, or take just a little bit of material off the end and it'll go right in. So this is the center support for the front shock mount. This goes up through the 2 plates that we sandwich the OE shock mount together with. Bolts in place down here, then also has another top bolt that comes through here. So on the High Lifter Edition, they ran the diff breather through that top hole. We're going to go ahead and reroute that diff breather, and then we'll just use our regular tire in location that we always use with this lift kit system. So now that we're all snugged up on our upper shock mount bracket, we're going to go ahead and reroute what little bit of wires we had to untangle and untie, and then our front diff vent back down to the differential. Now the front bracket's installed, let's take a look at our new positioning of our shock. With the full chassis braced, the shock is moved out a little further, and that basically stands the shock up a little straighter in relationship to our control arms, giving us our better spring advantage and our lift height. Now that the front's all done, we're going to come back here and do the same thing. We're going to uninstall the shock, install an upper shock mount relocation, But first things first, we got to get these wheels and tires out of the way. Now we're on to the back of the lift kit install. We're going to go ahead and take our upper relocation bracket, and also the kit includes a bracing tube clamp that's supporting the whole package. This rear relocation gives us a better shock position, putting the geometry more vertical. It will provide us with that 2 inches of lift that we're looking for. All right, so the rear lift bracket is really straightforward to install. There is one part with the clamp that you'll have to take extra care on, making sure we get this tight. And these have to be worked back and forth until you fully clamp that against our lift bracket. So you don't want to pinch the lift bracket closed. There is a small gap there. You're just trying to tighten that, so we were swedging this around the chassis tube and just making sure everything is nice and supported that way. So this will finish up our lift kit install. With the HD spring kit plus the lift kit, we were able to increase the tire size. We rushed out to our friends at Wheel Pros and we got some MSA 16-inch M31 Lock 2 wheels and a set of 34x10 EFX Moto Boss tires. We think this is going to do exactly what we need it to, and with a little bit of plastic trimming, they should clear no problem. We're out here with our XP 1000 High Lifter Edition. We got our 2-inch lift, our spring kit all installed. Now we're ready to shake her down and start the weekend.